Well, welcome back. We have Johnny Rocket of Shine FM, and we have Hollie Taylor of Joy Radio. There you go, folks. Tell me, I want you guys to talk to me about your Why Me podcast, because you're a great podcast host.
Okay.
I've listened to you. I've been on your podcast. It's so great. Johnny, why did you guys start this Why Me podcast?
This is 90% nothing to do with me and 10% to do with me. And I say that because I come up with 1,000 million great ideas. And this was the only one that really seemed to stick, because the rest of it is all because of Hollie.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Is that true, Hollie?
Yeah, it is true. I had a great opportunity with Joy Radio with their Faith Strong Today, more the digital arm, and they were looking for podcasts. And I thought it would be cool to have a podcast. However, I don't have any good ideas, but I know someone who does. So that's where I pitched it to Johnny and said, let's take your Why Me project podcast idea and just do it. And that was 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So how many podcasts is that in 5 years? Do you even know?
248.
Yeah,
wow.
He always knows. I don't know.
Well, you know what? You guys are the master, really, storytellers, but also drawing people's story out of them. And I love your question, why me? So what have you discovered is behind that question? Johnny?
Well, we all have it. And the fact that we go through these hills and valleys of life and we're asking God those questions. Why me? Why am I put in this situation? Why are you using me this way? But then what I love is the fact that after the why then is kind of the what's next. How are we going to navigate that? What are we going to do when it comes to, dealing with whatever hill and valley moment we are going through? And so each and every person goes through it, and each and every person always usually has a different answer.
Yeah.
Is that true, Hollie? That's been your experience?
Oh, yeah. And if you stop asking at why me, you've missed most of God's story for your life. Johnny's next question about, well, what next? Because you've learned something in the why me, and hearing our guests share that and how they got out of a why me situation is really incredible and encouraging.
Well, it is. And when I listen to your podcast, which is, you just draw out people's stories. I think they're surprised half the time what they share with you. It's so intimate. But can I put you on the spot? Johnny, if I were to ask you, what's your why me moment?
Okay, so I don't have an hour and a half to tell you, so I'll try to condense it. I was working at our radio station for free for a year, day in and day out, 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. And the boss at that point in time says, by the way, it's my last day. We don't need you anymore. So as I was driving home, I'm like, God, I thought you wanted me to be, here at radio. I thought you wanted me to do Christian radio. Why me? And all I heard from God was saying, well, nobody knows that you got let go because you never signed a contract. Nobody was around when so just show up on Monday. So Friday I got fired. Monday I showed up and got rehired, all because of me asking that question, God, why me? And he gave me that answer.
That's incredible. Well, I'm glad you showed up on Monday, my friend, because,
me too.
You're still doing it. Who would have known? Hollie, what about you? What's your why me moment?
I haven't had a ton of why me moments, whether it was personally or professionally. I think in general, for me, the why me comes from just when you go through little things that don't seem to be adding up, or just like the everyday stuff. I'm like a chronic why me asker. Oh, our car broke down. Why me? But I've been able to find that in those little why me moments, God the words he gave me was, Hollie, I've got you. I've got you. And I have the mind of a goldfish. And so he's telling me that he's got me on a daily basis, because for me, I have those micro why me's.
Well, I love that you're so right. If you don't pause and ask the question, why me, you're going to miss out on the lessons in life. Yeah. So, Johnny, what would you say be one of your greatest lessons in your life?
Ooh. Well, if I could go back one quick second, I feel like the last 11 years when I did the morning show with Hollie, every morning she'd wake up and say, why me?
If I was doing morning radio, I'd be asking the same question.
Yeah, maybe a little. That's a good
Completely
one, too.
Anyway, sorry, I deviated. What was your question? My apologies.
That's okay. It gives you a moment to think about it. Your, greatest lesson, one of the greatest lessons in your life.
Is that, and actually Hollie and I had chatted about this even last week on our episode, is that a third of us are starting to go through something, a third of us are in the midst of something, and a third of us are coming out of something. So no matter what, we're all going through something. And so we just need to look around and see and realize and recognize that everybody around us is dealing with something. And that's kind of the lesson that I've learned through all of this, is that, we all go through something. And then part two to that is that anytime that we don't think that God is near us, all we need to do is just turn around.
Oh man, that's so good. I mean, that'll carry you through a lot of why me moments. Hollie, what about you? What would you say is one of your greatest lessons in life?
How much we need each other. Sometimes we feel like we can do things on our own. I mean, the Why Me Project podcast is a prime example of it. I couldn't do it on my own. I didn't have the creative juices flowing like Johnny does, but I had more of the business side of things ready to roll. And so whether it be professionally or just you're a new mom and you feel like, okay, I've got this list of things I need to do and I need to be the super mom. Sometimes super moms need help too. So for me, community has been one of my biggest lessons, that we truly do need each other.
Well, right on. And especially the world we're living in right now, we've been through a lot. So like your presence on radio, you guys, thank you for being so faithful to that ministry. So here's your moment in time you've been waiting for. Johnny, your favorite thing about Hollie?
Oh, you spent 5 minutes with her. If you don't love Hollie for who she is, 100% authentic Hollie, and the laugh, and if you ever have a chance, get her to do the cricket sound. No, I don't want to put her on the spot, but those are just one of 3 million things that Hollie, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be asked about the cricket at some point. But Hollie, favorite thing about Johnny?
I love how he is such a great support. We were told that being a morning show would be like a forced marriage. And I just laughed and thought, oh, that's silly. But it's true. He is so quick on his feet. He always has a great way of looking at some negative comments that come your way. And yeah, he's just a great team member.
I love it. How do people find your podcast, you guys?
Wherever you get your podcasts, you can go and look for Why Me Project or at faithstrongtoday.com.
Love it. And at 700club.ca, we got all the info on Johnny and on Hollie. And thanks for joining us, you guys.
Thanks.